Everybody, welcome to the live stream, our Monday live stream. We're talking about all sorts of stuff, man. The Biden administration and campaign for re-election in 2024 say that this is a pivotal week as we close in on the State of the Union. What they believe will be the real beginning of this race. Everything else that's happened, you want to know what? A bunch of hoopla, right? Party favors, hors d'oeuvres, canapes, if you're of the British persuasion. No. Now we're getting into the real work. Now we're getting into when it really matters. Specifically, Joe Biden has spent the last 2 weeks reorienting his campaign from one that all but ignored the border and assumed that it was an issue that mostly mattered to the right of this country and stood steadfast with Israel, to one that is at the very least more Israeli skeptic than it was before, if assuredly not full ceasefire as his progressive flank would want. And one in which he's looking to make executive orders on the border, something that will piss off his progressive flank on immigration. But the biggest question that I want to ask, and I'm going to do an interview when we're done streaming here with our friend Michael Cohen, the man who wrote the book on modern political campaigns. That Biden's approval rating sucks right now. It's bad. Let's go ahead and pull that up, actually. Let's see here. President Biden job approval. All right. Let's take a look here. As we know, whenever we talk about the whenever we talk about the reality of Biden's approval, we start here at the very beginning. Oh my God, isn't everything lovely? Coming out of January 6th, Biden 55% approval. We're getting better. We're coming out of lockdown. The economy's doing well. Donald Trump is gone. Oh, look at that. And then this represents Afghanistan, which is funny because I don't know how much people talk about Afghanistan in the year of our Lord 2024, but yet it will always stand as the crossroads here. With the Biden administration saying, I miss my Uncle Charles, y'all, because he shouldn't have been gone in front of his home. Didn't do nothing wrong. But that's just the reality. And so at that point, we go from, his averages in the 50s, approval ratings in the 50s, disapprovals in the high 30s. And, we take it and we flip him. We flip it for real. Yeah, it gets a little tighter around here, low 50s. For disapproval, high or mid 40s for approval, but look at where we are right now. we are at his approval rating barely eclipsing 40 and his disapproval rating at 56.5. So, what do we like to do with this? Historical presidential approval ratings. That's what we like to do. Head on over to the Gallup. Let's dig into the crosstabs here. So Donald Trump would have the lowest. A approval rating of 41.1. That was so low. I don't know if you guys remember this, but back in 2020, he lost the election. Is the episode not out? Hold on. All right. Well, the video one is up. I don't know why the audio one didn't go up. Let's take a look. Drafts, a few drafts. Super weird. Oh, you want to know what? It's stupid. Patreon always defaults. We're just not going to schedule it. Patreon always defaults to go a day after you want it to. So you always have to manually push it. So, all right. Live now. Why didn't you text me then, Pilot? Pilot texts me at 4:00 in the afternoon. Hey, the Patreon's not out. Patreon comes out at 10:30. You know what I mean? After 10:30, hey, the Patreon's still not out? Come on, brother. Help me out. Help me out. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry. Well, I don't know. Do we really want to go? Do we want to check? We want to check the timestamps? You want to check the timestamps? Yeah, it was 8:30. It was 8:30. You're right. All right. Just an FYI, along with the stream exit time for us to say goodbye, it would be nice to have a stream info for us to log in and say our hellos. Well, I usually did that, but then I think a lot of people like the to watch the streams as their own content. So I like to just kind of get going. I get going, start talking. Let's take a look here. I know Spin Dash had a Biden take. I've been saying Biden's going to lose for months now. He's actively trying to lose, in my opinion. Bad border policy, even worse Gaza policy, and he's done nothing for the last 4 years. And this is speaking as somebody who voted for him 4 years ago. And he ran on forgiving student loans and women's rights and hasn't done either. I have some unsolicited advice for the Biden administration. And I'll say this, electorally, I've historically been a bit of a Biden campaign hater. I was very critical of Haida Biden in 2020. I have always thought that messaging-wise, he's mushy. There's not really a lot to latch on to. There's not a thing that you can go and say, hey, I absolutely want to do this, or at least anything that's talked about in a modern capacity. You know, Roe versus Wade or abortion rights, women's health in general, writ large. Women's health has never been a more prescient issue to Democratic or Democratic-leaning voters. I think that it is malpractice to march into that environment by saying, codify Roe. The exact same plan you had for decades. No different tact. You're gonna let the overturning of the law just be more reason to codify Roe. It's like, dude, you're not gonna get to 60 votes in the Senate in your term, in your second term. You're not. Not even the most optimistic forecast would have him. They're going to lose the Senate in all likelihood in November, with only owing to the fact that the map for them this year is brutal. And so it's like when you say we're going to codify Roe, no, you're not. You're not. You're not going to do it. So there's got to be a different way to talk about this. Rolling Stone has a drugs for Trump staff story. And how much drugs the Trump staff does? I don't doubt it. Oh, we do have to salute Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley no longer an Ofer candidate. She won. She won last night. We like to salute winners in this show. So salute to Nikki Haley for the winner of the Washington, D.C. primary. About 1,900 total votes. Most of them probably work in Congress. The Sunday show is up now. Sorry for the delay. The video version was up yesterday, and my timestamp on the schedule to post it at 10:30 was set for a day later. So that's that. Okay. Do I anticipate her picking up any state wins tomorrow on Super Tuesday? No, I do not expect that. I think that Haley will probably lose everything. And I do think that now is about the time that, now's the time to say goodbye to all our family. NIK, because the donors keep giving money. KIH. And we're building a coalition for Liz Cheney. ALEY. I think she's done. She's done. I suspect she will suspend her campaign tomorrow. I do not believe that she is going to endorse Donald Trump on stage, but I do suspect she will endorse Donald Trump down the road. There was a clip from here. Let's actually watch it together, huh? Let's watch. We played this on the Sunday show that I posted too late. But meep, meep.
It's not anything I think about. What I have said.
All right, here we go. This is Nikki Haley yesterday on Meet the Press with Kirsten Welker.
Taken the prospect, the possibility of endorsing him off the table at this point?
It's not anything I think about. What I have said.
But is it off the table, Ambassador? It sounds like you are in a different place. Are people misinterpreting what you're saying? Have you moved to a place where you're no longer planning to endorse him?
Well, I think, first of all, if you talk about an endorsement, you're talking about a loss. I don't think like that. When you're in a race, you don't think about losing. You think about continuing to go forward. What I can tell you is I don't think Donald Trump or Joe Biden should be president. I don't think that we need two candidates in their 80s. I don't think we want a Joe Biden who calls his opponents fascists or a Donald Trump who calls his opponents vermin. No one wants that. I think people want a new generational leader that is going to go back to what the American dream is, what we want for our kids, in a place that's something that we can be proud of again.
Let me try it this way. You did sign a pledge, an RNC pledge, to support the event.
Okay. All right. I've watched a bunch of Nikki Haley. I think I have a beat for what she says and why she says it. And I am damn sure that she is a very careful speaker. She does not want to say something. She's disciplined in that way, which was why, like, the slavery thing, that gaffe became a gaffe because she was trying to be double defensive and it wound up making her make a mistake. But her issue is when she gets too conservative, in my opinion. So I believe that she is picking and choosing her words extraordinarily carefully here, because the big question now is Nikki Haley a Republican? Or at least a Republican in the party that is run by Donald Trump? There is no doubt that the populist element of this party is here to stay for a generation. I don't think anybody who's smart doesn't understand that. Now, it will not always revolve around Trump, although Trump will be a very important luminary for a very, very long time, win or lose in this election. But does Nikki Haley want to be in politics? Does Nikki Haley want to be the nominee in 2028? And if she does, what's the best way to do it? Because in my opinion, it's put up the spirited primary fight and then coalesce. Donald Trump is leading in these polls. You can say, hey, everything I needed to say, I said on the campaign trail. At the end of the day, the biggest thing that we need to focus on is Joe Biden getting out of here. So I'll tell you what went viral from this point forward, and then I'll tell you what I focused on.
Is what we want for our kids, in a place that's something that we can be proud of again.
Let me try it this way. You did sign a pledge, an RNC pledge, to support the eventual nominee. Do you still feel bound by that pledge?
I have always said that I have serious concerns about Donald Trump. I have even more concerns about Joe Biden.
So is that a no? Are you bound by the RNC pledge?
The RNC pledge, I mean, at the time of the debate, we had to take it to where, would you support the nominee? And you had to, in order to get on that debate stage, you said yes. The RNC is now not the same RNC. Now it's
so you're no
Trump's
longer bound
daughter-in-law.
by that pledge.
No, I think I'll make what decision I want to make, but that's not something I'm thinking about. And I think that while y'all think about that, I'm looking at the fact that we had thousands of people in Virginia. We're headed to North Carolina.
Okay, and then there's more Nikki Haley stuff. So here's what went viral. This was the quote that went around the internet yesterday.
Not something I'm thinking about. And I think
That's not something I'm thinking about. Now, I want to take you back to two elements that I think are more telling in this clip.
Still feel bound by that pledge.
Do you still wait here? Hold on. Let's.
in a place that's something that we can be proud of.
All right, here we
again.
go.
Let me try it this way. You did sign a pledge, an RNC pledge,
Yeah.
to support the eventual nominee. Do you still feel bound by that pledge?
I have always said that I have serious concerns about Donald Trump. I have even more concerns about Joe Biden.
So is that
Okay, right there. I believe that is Nikki Haley saying she is going to endorse Donald Trump. I have a lot of concerns about Donald Trump. I have even more concerns about Joe Biden. She is not saying they're the same. She is not saying Trump is more dangerous. If you follow that logic, she will endorse Donald Trump. She will not want to be seen as an impediment to Donald Trump winning. Like, because everybody's like, oh, well, if Donald Trump loses, then she gets to say, I told you so. She doesn't get to come back to the Republican Party if she's looked at as a spoiler. You know, she will have permanently burnt her bridge with a sizable element, a very animated element of this base. But let me get you back to another side that I think shows that she is going to endorse him.
no? Are you bound by the RNC
I-
pledge?
The RNC pledge, I mean, at the time of the debate, we had to take it to where would you support the
Okay, wait, hold on. I think I might have missed it.
That pledge.
I have always said that I have serious concerns about Donald Trump. I have even more concerns about Joe Biden.
So is that a no? Are you bound by the RNC
I-
pledge?
The RNC pledge,
Okay.
I mean, at the time of the debate, we had to take it to where would you support the nominee? And
So now she's in lawyer mode where she's trying to stall and she's like, a pledge? A pledge is a binding moment between either a person or a person to a group. This is like what Kamala Harris does all the time. When she doesn't know what to say, she just starts defining things. Table, 4 legs, sturdy top, holding, placing, dinner. Anyway, all right. So here, this is what I want to say.
had to, in order to get on that debate stage, you said yes. The RNC is now not the same RNC. Now it's
So you're no
Trump's
longer bound
daughter-in-law.
by that pledge.
No, I think I'll make what decision.
Okay. She says, so you're no longer bound by that pledge. And Nikki Haley says, no. All right. I don't think that she means no, as in, no, she's not bound by that pledge. I think she is saying no to the concept of Kirsten Welker's question. Because here's the reality. Nikki Haley wants to leave on her own. She doesn't want to be forced, and she doesn't want to be asking questions about why she's still in this race. Now, I would say if you don't want to be asked questions about why you're in this race, then maybe don't be curiously staying in this race when it's very, very clear you have no shot. But then again, I'm not Nikki Haley. I'm just a barking dog on the internet. But I do think she is very sensitive to the idea of people pushing her off the stage. And to the base that she is building, that's important. The base that she is building is very focused on the idea that this means more than just some random thing. The only question is her point is the ultimate end goal for Nikki Haley to take that 10%, 15% of the party and vamoose, right? Or does she want to be the savior of the Republican Party? Is she the one that can guide the never Trumpers back to the fold and explain to them that it's your thumb and your forefinger? What you want to do is just get those really, really loose, bring them to the nostrils,
pinch appropriately, and then press the button that has the red elephant.
because if that's what she wants, then now we're talking more VP, the VP lane, which I will say, in some of the chitter chatter amongst the conservative folks that I talk to, not off the table. Not off the table, VP. By the way, here's another clip. I'll play another clip from the
I want to make
from the Sunday show, but this one was one I found fascinating. This was on ABC's this week. Here we go.
Surprisingly, is pushing in Florida, as they are in the other cases, saying that these trials should happen after the election. But they did put forth a possible date for doing it before the election, August 12th. It seems, reading the tea leaves here, that there are two federal cases. There's the January 6th case, and there's this documents case. It seems like they clearly, if one of them is going to happen before the election, they want it to be the documents case.
Yeah, the government has suggested that those dates are being put out in bad faith. I mean, there's a game of, I don't know what game you want to analogize it to, checkers, chess, backgammon, something else. But they want to clog up the docket. They want to clog up the schedule. So even while some of these other cases are winding their way through the Supreme Court, like the January 6th case, because we're waiting to hear what the Supreme Court will say about the claim of absolute immunity, if you have another case scheduled, that doesn't allow one of the other four cases to go forward.
All right, I want to get to my point here in a second, but I want to bring up Mr. Nathan. Yeah, hold on. That's some bad news here. Nothing terrible. Nothing health wise. All right. So Trump shouldn't be president, but Biden is worse. With me as VP, I can mitigate the damage. I'm not seeing the argument. No, the argument by the time that she makes it will be the border is awful, blah, 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 blah. It'll be about issues. We're going to get out of the personality side, and everyone's going to start fighting across the lines. You're going to put on the jersey, you're going to put on the blue jersey, you're going to put on the red jersey, you're going to start fighting. So either you're going to conscientiously object and you're not going to join the fight, or you're going to actively defect and you're going to hurt the side that you were on before, or you're going to just fight. And so the argument for Nikki Haley is, I can patch this together. If it's Trump and Haley, I can put this back together. We can win. You're going to have a harder time winning without me. You want to talk to women in the suburbs? I talk to women in the suburbs. Nobody else that you can pick can do that. All right, let's get to this.
One of the other three cases to go forward. And they will come up with some excuse, presumably, as you get closer to the August date. as to why it can't go forward on that date. So I think there's a lot of gamesmanship going on here. And by the way, just further to what Sarah said earlier, and your earlier question, the reason you don't take an investigatory step or some other action close to an election is you don't want it to impact unduly against the person you've taken the action. And there's a lot of argument to suggest that being on trial and having these cases pending against him actually aids Donald Trump politically. We've seen that time and time again with the polls, and it's possible that the argument is actually the inverse of what Donald Trump's folks are advocating.
So that's the first time that I have heard something that is fascinating to me. And I do think I kind of agree with it. That now the Trump folks don't want to avoid the legal situations. They want to put them front and center. Because the more that Donald Trump has been legally entangled, the more popular he's become. Let's hear this point again. There we go.
As to why it can't go forward on that date. So I think there's a lot of gamesmanship going on here. And by the way, just further to what Sarah said earlier, and your earlier question, the reason you don't take an investigatory step or some other action close to an election is you don't want it to impact unduly against the person you've taken the action. And there's a lot of argument to suggest that being on trial and having these cases pending against him actually aids Donald Trump politically. We've seen that time and time again with the polls, and it's possible that the argument is actually the inverse of what Donald Trump's folks are advocating.
Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Trump is America's Alexei Navalny. That's certainly what Trump will tell you, right? Do we want to take calls? We can take calls. We are going to have a shorter stream here today. We're probably going to tap out at around 10:45 because I got to get ready for our interview. But yeah, we can open up the phone lines. Over 80 30. Call now. If a fetus has to live on its own without life support, does that mean that a baby on life support should be taken off life support? Because if not, it can't live on its own. I don't know if that's the viability argument friendly. I think the viability argument is that if it can be saved by modern medicine, then it is viable. In an age where quality entertainment is at an all-time low, people are clamoring for base celebrity scandal reality TV. Blink, I don't know how old you are, but I would have a hard time agreeing with you that our level of entertainment has never been lower. I mean, we kind of have the choice of not only the widest variety of entertainment that we have ever had in society, but also it's tailored exactly to us, and everything that's ever happened has been recorded. Oh, what's up, Dice? I did see Dune. I like Dune. I like Dune a lot. Dune was good. Did I see it in IMAX? I did not see it in IMAX. We just saw it on a regular Alamo Draft House screen. Myself, Ash, Brian, and Bonnie came out. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. I liked it a lot better than part one. I thought part one, dragged a lot at times, but this one, I think in almost every Denis Villeneuve movie, I feel a drag at a certain point, and then the best ones, you kind of realize why you spent that time there by the end. And this was, spoilers for a book that's been out forever, but the decisions they made, I thought were really good. How was the Alamo pre-show? It was pretty good. It was pretty good. They had a big recap of what happened in the first Dune, and they have this moment where it's like, oh, all of a sudden Paul can see glimpses of his future, and as they're flashing through all these things that he has seen, one of the images is him as Wonka. Did I try the Alamo wings or the hummus? Ashley tried the hummus. The hummus was good. I did not get wings. I got pizza. But yeah, I have a few notes, but I do think that for Dune, I mean, the fact that they got the cast they got, like that's like a really kind of murderer's row for quote unquote young Hollywood. Austin Butler and Timothy Chalamet, Florence Pugh, Zendaya. Zendaya was great too. That was a role that was a little bit out of character for her. I think in all the stuff that she's been most well known for, she's played a little bit like faster than the average, whip smart, sarcastic kind of character. In this one, she has to be very earnest because really the movie hangs on her story. It's not really Paul's story. It's really it's really Chani's story. She's the one that goes on the biggest journey. Supreme Court just ruled on the Colorado stuff? No, let me take a look. The news. All right, so here we go. What we suspected would be the case, Donald Trump is back on the Colorado primary ballot. Here's the question, though. What was the ruling? The Supreme Court on Monday tossed out a Colorado court's ruling that barred Donald Trump from appearing on the state's Republican presidential primary ballot because of a provision in the U.S. Constitution related to people who engage in insurrection. The unanimous decision said that states have no power under the Constitution to enforce the provision disqualifying people from federal office if they engage in insurrection, especially the presidency. The ruling said states could disqualify people for state office on these grounds. So did we get a vote count? During oral arguments, did it say unanimous? Yeah, the unanimous decision. Okay. That was really the only question, was whether or not somebody on the court would decide to not make it unanimous. That was really the only drama, in my opinion. Yeah, if it's 9-0. Yeah, 4-3 in the state, 9-0 in the Supreme Court. Yeah. Look, I never liked that decision. I haven't been shy about that. In general, if we don't have meat and potatoes crimes to disqualify politicians, if you got to spend more than, 2 sentences explaining the crime, I'm going to be predisposed to be skeptical of it. White collar crime is now legal. Look, if it's white collar crime, it better be like just embezzlement. There was money. He wasn't allowed to take it. He took it. 2 sentences. Like that's the thing. If you get into the forensic accounting, that's where I think people got lost on the New York thing. And again, Donald Trump right now is the most popular he has been in America. And I do think in part it's the idea that independents don't understand why these cases are what they are. If anything, they might look at them as lawfare, as somebody being picked on and antagonized. Stealing classified documents in January 6th are 2 that are taken the most seriously. Okay. The question then would be, wait, doesn't everybody do it? And now you got to explain why this is different. I'm just saying, like rape, murder, assault, embezzlement, these are things that people understand. I'm only talking about this on look, you can save it for your philosophy and moral justice class, what is right and what is wrong, right? I'm just trying to tell you what people think. How people understand. If you want to win, you got to have people understand what you're talking about. We did already talk about Nikki winning DC. Bad haircut is 2 words. Yeah. If we had jail time for bad haircuts, America would immediately understand that man needs to go to prison. Mr. Merrill Barr.
Justin Robert Young, how you doing?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good. What's popping?
Where is your God now, people? I call in on Friday. I keep it terse. I keep it clean. I get off within 2 minutes. And what happens? This shit goes AM radio. And then everyone's saying in the chat, God, can Merrill just call in with some wrestling takes? Where is your God now?
Take your victory lap, man. Take your victory lap. I thought it was great. I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know what algorithm pushed us into the Don Bonino vein, but it was really fun.
I mean, shit, man. You knew shit was going off the rails when Sound of Freedom became a topic.
I love all those calls. Those calls are really, really fun for me. I really like it.
Well, I didn't catch it. Did you catch Sting's last match last night?
I did. Yeah.
How was it?
Awesome. Yeah. Darby Allin took a spot through a pane of glass. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
I guess he's going to be the new, why are you trying to die, sir? Like,
not the new. I mean, he's been like that for a while, but that was something that I couldn't quite understand, why you'd want to do it, except for the fact that apparently bodily harm is Darby Allin's love language, and he wanted to show support and respect for somebody that has done a lot for his career. But as for Sting, yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, we did all the good Stinger spots. I think the Young Bucks were great. It is a very interesting place where I legit didn't know, because if anybody was going to go out as a white meat babyface, it's Sting. But at the same time, I don't know whether he's such a good guy. I don't know if he would want to do it, if he would want to win, but he did. And, with some kerfuffle at the end, I don't think he, with all the adrenaline, realized that they were not going to be able to be live for as long as they wanted. His speech was cut off at the end, but other than that, it was great. An amazing paper.
Well, they posted online the whole speech afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm loving the other side, the other promotion shit. Like, but so I haven't had a chance to catch up on AEW stuff. I don't have. I mean, okay. First of all, happy pre-birthday.
Thank you.
By the way,
thank you.
I know tomorrow's the big day. Your official year of your 40s. How do you feel it went?
Good. Yeah. I mean, I've been all dialed in, for this kind of stuff for a while, but I think, the product continues to improve, and we continue to march on. There are challenges and ups and downs, but at the end of the day, we, I think we're solid. I think, 40s are pretty cool.
So do you think you're getting a Nikki drop out for your birthday tomorrow?
I do believe that Nikki will drop out after Super Tuesday. There have been a lot of hints in that direction. So
but not necessarily tomorrow. Like not.
No. I think, that her speech tomorrow will be a dropout speech. I don't think that she will endorse Trump, but I do think that she will drop out.
That's interesting. Do you think she ever endorses Trump, or is it we're going to be like a Liz Cheney situation?
No, I think she does. We actually played a clip that people were saying was her saying she was unbound from her pledge in the RNC. I don't think that that's really what she meant when she was giving that interview. I do suspect that she is going to endorse Trump.
Okay. Well, I'm going to keep it terse again. Have a good one, man.
All right, dude. Peace out. True Man Fu, unless SCOTUS shocks us today. No, they've already, the ruling is out. Unanimous. Trump is back on his Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Biden's dropping Kamala and putting Nikki on the ticket. Yeah. You know, there is that idea, is that, like, you know, does Nikki Haley belong in another party? And that's the kind of question. Whenever you start getting serious about the idea of, like, oh, like, I'm building a Never Trump coalition, it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to explain to them why Trump is actually good? Or are you going to say, we all need to no longer be Republicans, and I am giving you the permission structure to do so? The Republicans aren't neocon enough. Got to go Democrat. I mean, because that ultimately, that's where all this tends to land. Is, you know, what are you going to do with that energy, with that momentum? Could Trump instigate a split in the party like the Dixiecrats did? I don't think that we are at a place where parties meaningfully split. You know, I do think it'll be very interesting to see in 2024 where some of those 2020 Biden voters that were Republicans that voted for Biden, where they go. It doesn't seem like Biden has that same energy like he did in 2020. And again, all in our American system, we think of it as two parties, but really they're two coalitions. And those coalitions are trading people either directly or through the way station of independents all the time. There are certain things that some, you know, are really, really attractive to people, and then the party drifts away from that, and so they don't want to vote for them anymore. And sometimes they get picked up by the other party, sometimes they don't. But both of the Republicans and the Democrats are functionally two different coalitions. Right now, Donald Trump has some angry natives on his middle, which is probably not the worst place to have them, because he's going to be talking more to the middle going forward. Biden has his biggest viabilities on the left. And that's going to be harder because he doesn't want to move more left during the campaign. Did you get the pressure washer working? No, not the one that I had. I bought a new one and it works. So we've used it a couple times. I think the split exists, but the Never Trumpers won't vote for Biden. Maybe. Nikki's argument sounds truthy. Ground seems fertile for a third party, even if it's just a neither of these guys party. Well, you know, there's been a lot of jokes lately that the No Labels party should be called No Candidate, because all the people that have been rumored, Joe Manchin, Chris Sununu, Larry Hogan, they have said no, no, no. Nikki Haley says she has not discussed anything with No Labels. But I mean, that just seems like a spicy move for Nikki. Does Nikki seem like the bold play lady? I don't think she does. I think the path of least resistance is going to be where Nikki goes. And the path of least resistance is hey, this is why we have primaries. So we can say hard truths to each other and we can strengthen our party. Right now, the Democrats are in shambles because they didn't have one. So you got a lot of people saying a lot of stuff, and it's going to be the first time that they heard it by the time that they go to the ballot box in November. Not us. We got our yah-yahs out. We said a bunch of stuff. Still wish I would have been able to debate you. But here you go, Chungus. I bend the knee. Yeah, if she played bolder, she might have won a primary. I mean, that's the reality here. And wonder what will happen to the only Trumpers moving forward. I assume that they will splinter. You know, I think that the America First movement is something that will continue to have varying different favorite sons and then, you know, eventually kind of disappear. She did win a primary. We do have to salute Nikki Haley. She is not an for candidate anymore. She won amongst, I guess, congressional staffers in DC that actually live in DC. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's a swamp. It's a swamp. It's a swamp." Man, the swamp lives in Virginia. The swamp lives in, they actually have houses. You're not talking about people who really live in DC. I mean, like any coalition, you're going to have people that will just be told to suck it up. And I suspect that, I think it's pretty clear on the left, it's going to be progressives. You don't want a fascist to be president, do you? Well, I know you didn't get everything you wanted for Christmas, but stop complaining. Hit the button and shut up. And then on the right side, I think it's going to be the like hardcore pro-lifers. I think Donald Trump is going to go to the middle on that. Because I don't think that there's anything he wants more in life than to be the guy who settled abortion. Uh-oh. All right, guys. Well, you want to know what? I'm going to wrap us up here. And I am going to get ready for our interview with Michael Cohen, which I'm going to do at the top of the hour. So with that being said, thank you for taking time out of your morning or your afternoon, if you're watching this on the VOD, to spend some time with us. It's always greatly appreciated. Until next time, friends. See you later.